Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that's watching and learning. To you, I want to say shalom. Also want to give a shalom to the Akim that go on the highways and byways, doing this work in all truth and sincerity, making themselves a living sacrifice unto our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. To you, brothers, I say shalom. I also want to give a shalom to the newly awakened, those who the Most High has blessed with ears to hear and eyes to see. May He increase you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding according to your lot. I'm the brother Nakamaya coming at you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be Force and Vaccinations Will Be a Reality. Force and vaccinations will be a reality. All right. So what I have for you today, I want to show two quick videos. Right, and I got an article I'm going to read, and I'm going to bring out a couple of precepts. All right, hopefully it all be edifying. The spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right now, what inspired this lesson is the brother Remnant Save, right, posted an article saying Evil E starting to force injections, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play that. It's just a quick video, 46 seconds. Right, I'm gonna play that video, and then to go ahead and back up this video, right? Because these forced injections is gonna be, they're gonna start rolling it out in Australia, right? But Australia is also a microcosm of what's gonna happen over here in America, right? So what I'm also gonna do after I play this video, I'm also gonna go and play another video of Donald Trump pretty much admitting, right, that they're gonna force a vaccination, right, and they're gonna use the military to do it. All right, proving to you that whether you want this vaccine or not, they're gonna try and force these things upon us. All right, so go ahead and get into these videos. Hopefully, be edifying the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, now this is gonna be the first clip right here that was posted by the brother Remnant Save 144.
Have absolutely no doubt about that, but there will be strong. Have absolutely no doubt about that, but there will be strong. I suspect the majority of Australians will get vaccinated, and there will be a strong public view that those who choose not to get vaccinated need to. There needs to be some sort of incentive stick, perhaps, through the current programs, including No Jab, No Pay.
Some sort of incentive, right? If you got for the guys that don't want to take it, right? But this incentive he's talking about is not going to be a positive incentive, right? It's going to be pretty much the more eroding of your liberties, or keeping you from doing certain things, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and let the video finish playing. You got to keep that in mind.
To make that happen. So I think that is a very reasonable interpretation of what the PM had to say today. Again, looking at specific things like not being able to go into restaurants, not being able to travel internationally, All
right, he cut it off right there, but he was pretty much going to go into some of those incentives. All right, now let's go to let's go back one. Let's go to what Donald Trump planned on doing, right? Because that forced vaccination also applies over here in America as well. Probably the whole world going, same way they're gonna force this mark of the beast upon the people. This vaccine is just pretty much a precursor for all that. But let's go ahead and get into the second video.
Anything that we would have thought. One issue that has come up is
now Donald Trump just finna tell you straight up how he plan on administering this vaccine.
Once you do have a vaccine, how do you properly distribute it? How do you get it out quickly to millions? Well, when we have the vaccine, we have the military all lined up, and the military is going to be doing it in a very powerful manner. These are people that don't usually do vaccines. They do soldiers, and they do lots of other things that, frankly, are more difficult. But we have our general, and logistically, he's all set. Tony, do you...
Now, you heard that. Right. Now, these are people that don't usually do vaccines, right? They do other things that's usually way more difficult, right? like going in and taking over countries and, bombing and killing people, right? So using these same people that's used for, more aggressive manners, there ain't gonna be nothing just to use them to go around and, give everybody a shot, man. Right? And those who don't want to comply, well, they're gonna have incentives, if you will. All right? This devil's letting you know, man, they ain't gonna be playing no games when they come to this. All right? This that great wrath that he's coming down with because he know he has but a short time. All right, let's play some more of this video because they say a lot.
Want to say something about that?
That is correct. As the vaccine rolls out, we'll be getting them distributed. And as you probably have heard, we are going to make sure that we do it in an equitable way. And it's representative of the populations who need it the most. And we have the...
And it's representative of the populations that need it the most. Now, Bill Gates and his wife already pretty much said, you so-called blacks, Latinos, right? And you so-called Indians, y'all need to be the first ones to take it, right? Pretty much showing their hands. And this article I'm finna get into, right, that's over there in Australia, they pretty much admitting the same thing, right? But they trying to use smooth words as they do it. But, if you somebody that, that's in his truth or got a little bit of sense, you can pretty much pick up on it. The language is all the same, all right? So, we are the targets, man, mainly.
The standard way that we determine that with the ACIP working with the CDC, but Dr. Collins and Dr. Redfield have put together with the National Academy of Medicine a group that will fortify that decision-making process so that we're making sure that we're very fair and equitable in getting the vaccine distributed properly.
And I think I could have Francis say that tremendous progress has been made on the vaccine beyond anything that we would have thought if you go back 6 months. What do you think?
So I pretty much wanted that, right? I just really want them their admission into how they're going to pretty much distribute it, right? So go ahead and get into this article. Right, before I get into the article, let me go ahead and read a quick precept. Let's go to the book of Micah. Chapter 2. Got the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. Right? We know the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Right? And at this present moment, right, with all this prophecy unfolding, right, Babylon the Great is falling. From all angles, man. Right? From the wildfires, civil unrest. We got 2 hurricanes barreling down on the state. Right? It's just, it's getting bad, man. Right? A lot of this, this truth is coming out, exposing this devil. Right? Their evil rituals. Right? And not only that, they plans of a one world order. Right? Everything is being brought to the forefront. Right? And the more this devil's getting exposed, the more he has to, move with haste. All right? But, this is all part of the Most High's will. Right? All right, so let's go ahead and get into this article. The article here is going to be out of Australia, right? One of the first places that they are looking to, force to vaccinate. Let's see if I can get a date on this. It just says posted 6 days ago. Could the coronavirus vaccine be mandatory in Australia? Experts say it's possible, right? And not only do we know it's possible, but the officials are pretty much admitting they coming with this thing, right? News this week that Australia could have 25 million doses of so-called Oxford vaccine available by early 2021 raises hope that a way to control COVID-19 spread may not be far away. But it also raises some serious ethical questions about how the vaccine will be distributed, including whether it should be mandatory. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who originally declared on Wednesday the vaccine would be mandatory before revising his language to encouraged, right? Because once he said it was going to be mandatory, quite sure he got a lot of flack behind that. right? So what he did was soften his word up, right? Make it smooth like butter, like the scriptures say, you know, to go and try and ease some of the attention, but the damage is already done. You know, people are already on edge. Added to speculations by suggesting that the no jab, no play framework used to compel uptake of childhood immunizations could offer a model for corona vaccinations too, right? Because that's how they're going to get the people eventually, right? No jab, no play. Or no jab, no work, no jab, no shop, right? No jab, no eat, right? Which is also going to be a precursor for the mark of the beast, right? Because if you don't take this chip, you're not going to be able to do any of these things, right? But with this vaccine, which is going to be a perfect model for the mark of the beast, in some places not even going to allow you to come in even inside, let alone shop, all right? So this is why this vaccine is important, right? Because it's going to actually set up the mark of the beast. So in practice, what does that mean? Could those reluctant to receive a new vaccine be forced to accept it? And how would that affect the human rights of those that don't want to receive it, right? And what you people are about to realize that you have no rights, man. You know, all this talk about your constitution and all that was a guise, you know, just to keep you people in line, man. Right? Until this moment here, right? And until it was time to fulfill prophecy, man. Right? And if just in case you ain't know, your human rights already done been eroded away. That's why they got you around here walking around with masks on, man. Right? Taking away your right to work. Right? Evicting you. Right? So if you don't know by now, if you've been living under a rock, your constitution is trash, man. Right? And it has been trashed. And it has been suspended, you know, the moment Donald Trump, you know, declared a national emergency, man. Right? He's not even in charge anymore. Right? FEMA is. Who might refuse the vaccine? Just as some groups have resisted masks for a range of reasons, it is inevitable that some will refuse the jab when or if it comes available. And vaccines skeptics are already preparing for a fight. A comment on one international website urges Aussies need your help. They're going to force us to inject DNA modifications vaccines, and they're doing it soon. We don't want our kids injected with poison. Right, and there's already a lot of speculation that these vaccines, right, is going to be DNA modifying, right, making way for the mark of the beast. Right, some say it may actually work hand in hand with the mark. Right, nobody knows for sure, but what we do know is nobody needs to be getting anything injected in their skin, right, in their blood, right, especially when this coronavirus isn't half as deadly as even the common flu. Right, and they don't force everybody to get vaccinated with that when the flu takes out more people than this coronavirus has. Right, showing you pretty much that all this stuff is BS, man. But concerns over vaccinations are not limited to traditional anti-vax groups. A new U.S. study suggests as many as 1 in 3 Americans may refuse a COVID-19 vaccine, as Russia prepares to roll out its untested Sputnik V vaccine. This statistic appears to reflect genuine unease over the safety of any future vaccines, right? Because they ain't testing none of this stuff, right? And even if they is testing it, right, they're not giving it an adequate amount of time to see what the real side effects would be. Right. Usually when they come out with something, right, they give it years and years. They let a couple of years go by before they really see what the side effects are. Right. But, because they're speeding this out so quick and with such haste that nobody's going to really know what the side effects are. Right. But we know what their agenda is. Right. They got it in plain sight. Right. They want to, depopulate, man. Populate this earth. Right. And you Israelites are going to be the first ones they want to get rid of. The urgency of finding a vaccine solution means the potential candidates have progressed far more quickly than usual through the research and trials. A clue to how this dilemma could play out took place in the NRL earlier this year when 3 Gold Coast players were stood down for refusing to have a vaccine. So can the government make the vaccine mandatory? Here's your answer. Yes, the government does have some option for enforcing a mandatory vaccine scheme. And it is a scheme. Marco Bogoric, the dean of the Swinburne University Law School, says the Australian government holds the right to compel citizens to have a vaccine even if they don't want it, right? Proving that you are not your own, man. Right? Your government owns you, right? Or thinks they own you, right? And that's the mentality, you know. And not only does he want to own you, he wants to rule over you, right? He wants to be your God, right? That's what that microchip, that RFID microchip is actually going to do. Because not only is he going to force you to get it, but once you get it, right, he's going to have, complete control over you, right? So if he can get you to fall for this, right, how much more that microchip? Legally, the government can impose whatever requirements it wants on its citizens, he says, right? Legally, he can do this, right? Well, he thinks so, right? But it's pretty much showing you, man, your Constitution is trash, man, right? Your rights are garbage, right? You're gonna do what this government says or else, right? Now you may feel like otherwise, or you may feel, you might have that attitude of over your dead body because you got firearms. But you don't think they got a plan for that, man? Right? They know how many guns are in these countries, man. Right? They're going to come and get these guns before they do anything, man. Right? But in order to do that, they're going to, stage a couple, incidents, right? So make some security questions, national security, make that a real big issue, and they gonna come collect your guns before they do this. Or those who just choose to put up a fight against the military, right, which is gonna be pretty foolish. They're just gonna deal with you quickly, man. All right. In Australia, we don't have a human rights charter or anything constitutional or enforceable through other types of legislation. But Mr. Bogoric, who is an expert on punishment, says advocating this power would be highly unlikely and absolutely unprecedented. Yeah, unlikely and unprecedented. Does that mean it ain't possible? Sure it is. The physical nature of a vaccine piercing the skin sets it apart from restricting religious, civil, or political rights, and even for coercing Australians to stay indoors or have their fingerprints taken. He says, in a legal defense, Mr. Bogoric believes it could be argued that enforcing vaccinations amounted to torture, right? Yeah. All the torture that these Edomites bring upon this world, man, they don't care nothing about that, right? If you consider this man's history, right, and his track record, actually for vaccine giving you a shot ain't nothing. Right, this man hung people, raped, robbed, took over countries, right? Took nationalities, right? Steal all resources out of the lands, right? So it ain't nothing for him to, use his military, man, to give everybody a shot. That ain't nothing, man. Call that torture? The human body has always been viewed as inviolable, he says, putting aside for a moment issues of forced sterilizations. What a compulsory vaccine constitutes is a violation of what has thus far been assumed to be an almost absolute right. But can governments do it to enforce vaccinations against coronavirus? Yes, it can. But should the government do it? For Mr. Bogoric, who describes himself as an utilitarian, says the government should find ways to enforce a vaccination schedule for coronavirus as it does for standard immunizations. I think that normal rules and laws should be developed on the basis of what best works for net humans flourishing. He says, if a safe vaccine is available, then I think that human flourishing would be enhanced if everyone had the vaccine because the price of living with coronavirus is too high. Yeah, right. Like I said earlier, we don't seen the flu take out more people than this, right? So that's just a play on words. What might the consequences be for refusing? A variation of the no jab, no play, or the no jab, no pay policies have been suggested as one way to withhold some welfare payments for parents whose children are fully immunized or on schedule to catch up. In some states, it also applies to enrollment in preschool and child care centers. Now, if you're somebody who on government assistance, right, you're not going to have much say in this, right? Proving you that a gift destroys the heart, right? Because if you were somebody that was just so lazy, right, and you just heavily dependent on this government, man, right, and then ever tried to wean yourself off of it, and you still dependent on it right now to this day, or even up to the time of these vaccinations start rolling out, then you ain't gonna have no choice in the matter, right? Because if you want to eat, you want to take these vaccinations, right? You want your rent paid, you better take these vaccinations, right? And it's really ironic, right, that this devil is choosing, to run this economy at the ground at this particular time. How many more people you got on benefits right now, right? Losing their jobs, right? The threat of eviction, if not evicted, right? This devil is putting you in a position to where you're going to have to pretty much take this thing if you just want to maintain your way of life, man, right? Showing you how slick this devil is, right? So how much more does Mark? Mr. Morrison said he has a pretty strong view on vaccines, established during his years as the social services minister responsible for strengthening the no jab, no pay regulations, right? No jab, no pay, right? What is important to understand with any of these vaccines is it does protect you, but it also protects the community, he says, right? So not only you got to worry about the government giving it to you, right? You're going to have some of these, some normal citizens, right, giving you hell by not taking this, right? Thinking you, looking at you as unpatriotic or somebody who's contaminated, right? It's gonna cause hell for you, man, right? On a lot of fronts. And as is the case with any vaccine, there will be some individuals who, for precise medical reasons, can have issues with any vaccine. When asked how the no jab, no pay concept could be applied to those refusing a coronavirus vaccine, Mr. Morrison would not be drawn. I don't think offering jelly beans would be the way to do as you do with kids. Mr. Morrison said, yeah, because you're dealing with full-fledged adults, right? So their threat's going to have to be a little more severe, not being able to work, not being able to go into restaurants or grocery stores to buy food, right? This pretty much blackballing you from society, right? Which also is going to be a precursor, like I said earlier, to the mark of the beast, man. That's why they're going to do it. And then they're going to enforce this real hard, right? To make way for that mark. We'll take it one step at a time, but we'll take those issues as they present and consider what steps are necessary at that time, right? And, draconian laws is what they're going to pretty much implement. But it's not the only option available. There could be something like an immunity passport, giving those who can be vaccinated more freedoms and restrictions eased, right? Oh, you take this vaccination, you can do this, you can go here, you can do this. You pretty much have a normal life, right? Draconian laws, right? That's why they locking you down now, making your life a living hell. So that way when they present the solution, man, people are willingly going to take this stuff, man. Right? So how much more of that mark? There would be a strong public view that those who refuse a vaccination need some sort of incentive. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Nick Coatsworth says, looking at specific things like not being able to go into restaurants, not being able to travel internationally, not being able to catch public transportation, or more broadly, having what in the olden days would have been a yellow fever vaccination certificate. These are clearly policy decisions that will be discussed, he said, right? Blackballing you, man, right? And then what's going to be the and he said having a certificate saying that you got it, right? You know what that certificate going to be once you get vaccinated? Go ahead and take this mark of the beast, this chip, That way, we'll have that you already got vaccinated and everything, right? Not saying that they're gonna present them both at the same time, but that also will make way for the chip, right? That could be your your certificate of vaccination, man. Right? It's gonna have everything on it: your health records, your ID, whether you've been vaccinated or not. Right? The possibilities are endless, man. This devil is slick, man. Wiser than Daniel. Looking at some specific things like, okay, I read that already. But there is no current mechanism to enforce that sort of thing at the moment. Right? Now, Bill Gates pretty much already done said, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans need to be the first one to get vaccinated, right? Now, they ain't using that same language in this article, but just watch how it's worded, man. Right, showing you that this devil is slick or trying to be slick, right? But he already done been exposed. Who should be first in line for a vaccine? Stephen Duckett, a health economist at the Grattan Institute, was previously experienced working in government health policy, says there's a long road ahead before the ethical question around rolling out a vaccine will be directly confronted. But when they are, compliance won't be the only dilemma, right? Deciding who should be first in line for a new vaccine, and by default, who is first to get the hypothetical immunity passport, right? I mean, you're going to be able to do all these things when you get it. Must also be considered. Mr. Duckett argues healthcare workers should be prioritized, followed by younger people who are at risk, such as those with suppressed immune system. Now, who has suppressed immune systems? Right? Think about it. Right? When it comes to us Israelites, right, you so-called blacks, especially you blacks, right, you Judites, right, your high blood pressure, high risk for diseases, asthma, stuff like that. That they talking about you right there, right? But it's all coded, right? See how slick this devil is. Same, but not direct as Bill Gates and his wife was, but all the same, man. Same type of language, man. These practical considerations hide deeper questions about the kind of society Australia is or wants to be, he said. If we have a vaccine, who do we prioritize? What is consistent with Australian values, Mr. Duckett said. These are the things I believe it would be good for the society to talk about. Here we go right here. Pay attention to this. Housing inequalities put some groups at greater risk than others, he said. Housing inequalities, right? You already know who that is. Right? You Jake always have housing problems, right? Or you depend on the government for housing. Right? So let's talk about you, man. Pointing to Melbourne's social housing towers. Some of those who lost work as a result of the coronavirus are also moving out of independent housing and with friends, right? Who losing houses the most, right? Who losing their jobs the most, right? You Jakes, man, right? So this article is pretty much laying it out, right? They want you to get it first, right? So not only is Bill Gates suggesting it over here, right? They're also suggesting that in Australia, right? So how much more all these other countries when they start rolling it out, right? We in Jacob's trouble, man. Now pay attention to this wording. Let me read that top verse again. Some of those who lost work as a result of the coronavirus are also moving out of independent housing and in with friends. This can cause overcrowding and make social distancing more difficult, he says, adding that such circumstances could make these groups earlier candidates for the vaccines. Now you see that? Right? They coming for you Jakes, man. Right? Because who's losing their jobs more than us? Right? Who's having to move in, with family members, man? Not saying that their people are not having to do it either, but, us more than anybody, especially at this particular moment. Dilemmas like this should also inform how vaccines are distributed, he said, right? So they're gonna come for us first, man. Right? It's all a part of their plan, man. We might say perhaps we should prioritize those whose society has failed by failing to provide good social housing programs in this country, Mr. Duckett says. But Australia needs to keep its vaccine options open and pursue deals with other vaccine manufacturers as well as Oxford's because we still don't know if this one will fall over the gate. That's pretty much it. All right, that's pretty much it on that, but just check this little sentence out right here. No jab, no pay coronavirus vaccine could be tied to government payments, right? Tied to the government payments. So if you're receiving any type of payments from the government, man, they're gonna threaten to cut that off, man, right? If you don't take this vaccine, right? You got a lot, man. You got to head into this devil too, man. He's setting this thing up beautiful, man. So if you somebody that just heavily relying on this government, right, for anything, right, you can use whatever your whatever your need is against you, man. For if you don't take this vaccine, right, proving you who the devil is, man. All right. That's all I got on that. Let me go ahead and read the scripture real quick. I ain't want to make this too long. All right, but hey, man. But the same way he's getting very aggressive with this vaccine, it's pretty much what he's gonna do with this mark, man. Right, and this mark gonna be a little more significance. Gonna have a little more significance than this vaccine is. Right, because you ain't gonna be able to buy nothing, or sell or do no type of business, man. Work, none of that. Right. Got the book of Psalms, chapter 64, start at verse 1. Hear my prayers, O power. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayers. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Right? Because only the Most High can protect us in times like this, man. Right? Because the powers that be have all the power over us. Right? They can just force vaccinate us, right, against our will. Right? Because we are not our own. Right? That's why if you turn to the Most High, man, especially in these times, while the door of repentance is open, right? The Most High is reaching out his hands to his people. Right? He can protect us and save us from all this. Right? But 2/3 of our people, man, they want to be stiff-necked and hard-headed, so they ain't gonna have no protection. Right? They're gonna constantly rely on Egypt, right? And they're gonna fall victim to this. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Verse 3. Who whet their tongues like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? And these are bitter words that they talking, right? No pay if you don't get this vaccine, right? No going in restaurants, right? No this, no that, no cutting off your way of living, man, right? A way of providing for your family. This is war, man. Spiritual war. All right. Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, right? And they are trying to shoot at the perfect in secret, right? But the Most High has revealed them, man. Right? We know who this vaccine is really for, right? We know who you guys really want to take out, right? The Most High made your tongues fall upon yourself, right? Numerous times, right? Starting with Bill Gates and his wife, who they really want to take this vaccine first and want to take it first, right? And then if you also read between the lines in that article, right, they pretty much, they spilled the beans as well over there in Australia. Right, those who's losing their jobs, those who more susceptible to the, diseases. Right, those who got to move in with family members. Right, that's us, man. Verse 5, they encourage themselves in the evil manner. They commune of laying slayers privately. They say, who shall see them? And the Most High sees you. And he revealed his secret unto the servants, the prophets, right? And we revealed it unto the people, right? So, those in this truth, the hopeful elect, right? Be not deceived, right? We see this devil. We see his, we see the plot, right? We know the ultimate plan is the mark of the beast, but this is all, just a precursor and a setup for it, right? So you got to stay prayed up, ask the Most High for faith. Encourage, to be able to stand when these things roll out. All right, because the devil is coming down with great wrath because he got a short time. We're gonna stay circumspect. All right, so I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to say, call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elder great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that's watching and learning. To you I say shalom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Wa Abal Babal. Shalom.